Hey guys, Dazanar here. Doing a mobility coaching video for you guys today. Just want to talk to you about the basics of staying mobile as you age and even in your younger years. The benefits of keeping yourself mobile, flexible, limber, taking care of your muscles. This is important for anyone, everyone, whether you're a bodybuilder or you just have a regular job, or maybe you sit at a computer all day. Maybe you're super active, you use your legs to run a lot or to move around a lot, you get really tired, you lift a lot of weights at work, whatever it is. Most people could really benefit from understanding some of the concepts of mobility coaching. So today I just have a whole bunch of like little things over on the side here that I'm going to show you that are tools that I use usually every day, or probably at least a couple times a week do I use these things. And we'll just jump into the basics. My favorite go-to is the back roller. This is really useful. I use it pretty much every day unless I kind of forget about it. Obviously it's a back roller. It's really good for getting your back, right? And you'll hear all the little cracks and little sounds your body makes, the pops. But what's really important to do with a back roller is to get your muscles. It's not just to crack your bones, and it's not just to use on your back. You often can have really sore muscles in your back, from your PSOAs to your erector muscles. Like all types of muscles in your back can give you back pain. And what happens is they get like inflamed and tight and swollen and a whole bunch of different things, and it makes it hard for your vertebrae, for your nerves to just have the room that they need. As the muscles swell up, it will push on those nerves, and those nerves might start getting pinched, or you might just start not having the right posture, and you develop a bulging disc, or even worse, you get a herniated disc. And I've had plenty of those, and trust me, they're not fun when your discs herniate. And the only thing you can really do to stop that from happening in your life as you age is taking care of your body, working those muscles, making sure those muscles are healthy, they're strong, that they get the blood supply that they need. And a lot of people don't realize that maybe you had sore muscles and you give it a couple days rest, they're not going to be 100% if you're not using some of these tactics to get extra blood and nutrients into them. Many muscles, especially your back muscles, muscles around joints and ligaments, they just don't get the blood flow that most people think they do. You think that all of your body gets an even amount of blood distribution, and that's just not the case. A lot of areas just don't, especially the discs in your back, those vertebrae, they don't get any blood really. So if you can do tactics that will help increase blood flow, that'll be better for you. And the main point for using this is to kind of like do that. It massages an area in a way. Like I'll get sore muscles up in here, and so you do it on the side, and I can definitely already feel some of these muscles getting smushed, getting pressed, and then they get released, and you go back over it and do it again. It's sort of like a massage. And this isn't just for your back, like I said. You can do your arms however you want, your shoulders, your forearms, roll it on here. You're just using this as pressure, you're pushing into it, you're kind of pushing into your muscles with it. You'll find some sore spots. Back of your arm, your pecs, right? You can also do your butt, all these butt muscles back here. I'm not an anatomy and physiology major, so I don't like know all the muscle terms and whatnot, but I know which ones hurt and which ones need help. Trust me. So I know the tactics you can use. Use it on your leg, your quads, your hamstring. Give it a little rub down here. You see what I'm doing here? Just kind of like back and forth, moving it back and forth like this, sliding your muscle fibers along this, getting blood into them. And you may notice that they're sore. For me, sometimes they're sore, especially after the weekend when I've done a lot of dancing, a lot of walking. They can get sore. You can get your sides and your quads and stuff like that too. This is one of my favorite tools for getting my muscles in tip-top shape. The back roller. They come in different sizes too. You can get them smaller. You can get them larger than this. I think this one's like maybe 2.5 or 3 feet. I don't think this is 3 feet. I think it's like 2.5 feet or something. But I recommend getting one about this size. You can do some nifty stuff with it when they're a little bit longer. Like you can even put it in your middle of the spine, and since it's long enough, you just kind of rest and let your pecs kind of fall to the side. And this is a light stretching technique. So when I had a really bad back issues, I really loved using this for how long it was, because I could do that stretching technique. Let's go into balls next. So you've heard of muscle knots, I'm sure, and maybe you've had muscle pain or a sore muscle in your shoulder, or maybe your hamstrings are sore or something like that, or your back is really sore. Tennis balls can be used in a similar way to the back roller. What you're going to be doing is you're going to find the pressure spot, and I have some right here because I was science spinning around this weekend doing lots of repetitive motions. So I have some right here, and then I have some back issues in my PSOAs because they're always super active. So what you can do is find your sore spot. You can do this lying down. You can do it sitting up if you want. I have 2 tennis balls and a sock because you can do this standing up on the wall, and I'll try and show you. But you just find your sore muscle, kind of roll into it, rub into it. And if you really want to increase the technique, you find that sore muscle and hold it. Count to 30 seconds. And it's going to be pretty painful, but you're essentially pushing all the blood out and stretching it at the same time, forcing the muscle to stretch, and then you force the blood back in when you move out like this, and the muscle gets to relax. So you're, in a way, applying pressure and forcing the muscle to stretch and forcing new blood and fresh nutrients into it. So I really like to use it on my arms, your back, wherever you might have issues, never on the spine. You do not put anything ever on your spine, just your muscles that are next to your spine. And you kind of just roll on it, and if you find a bad muscle, you can just hold it there for 30 seconds and release it. And this one's really good on your back too, because you can do this standing up. But a lot of times, if you're rolling and moving around with this on the wall and you're standing up, it's going to fall down. So I have a technique that I learned online, and you just tie it in a pair of socks. So this is an old pair of socks that I couldn't match. I don't know if this will pick this up. I've got my painting stuff in the way right here. You kind of just put that behind you and move it around with the sock so it doesn't fall, you know? Yeah. Really good to help your back. If you have sore backs, most people have really bad posture. We look at our phones like this all day. We're at a computer, we're sitting down all day. We don't carry good posture with us. So oftentimes you can find people have really bad thoracic, lumbar, or even cervical issues. I've had all of them. And these techniques are usually what help me heal those issues when they happen, because they keep happening. You're not always in tip-top shape unless you're a bodybuilder. And then your muscles get sore anyway. So that's the balls. That's another pressure technique. These are myo balls. These were really interesting. I saw these at my chiropractor years ago, and they're for helping to break up fascia tissue. I don't know. You have small little tissues that will cover your muscles sometimes and your nerve cells, and this kind of helps force those to stretch and feels really nice. You can put it on your arm like this. They have bigger ones too. They can go on your legs and whatnot. It's very similar to the tennis balls, but like as you can see, it's a little bit different. You can do some different things with it, but pretty much the same thing. All right, what else we got? Pretty much done. There's a few more things. So massage guns. I have 2 different types at the moment. This one's a lot older.
being held together with duct tape. But massage guns, what they do to the body is not only do they give it a massage, right, but they're increasing blood circulation to that area. And like I said earlier, your muscles are probably sore because they're inflamed, or they were overused, or they're torn a little bit. There could be a whole bunch of different reasons why you got sore muscles. But if you're bringing fresh blood to that muscle area, you're going to be healing them, because that's bringing new oxygen, new nutrients, and those are the things that your muscles need to heal themselves. So you find your area, you get whatever setting you want. These massage guns come with different tips. I'll show you. You got your typical ball tip, you got your typical soft head little tip, which is really good if you're a beginner. You don't want to like hurt yourself by doing this on an area you're not supposed to, and I'll tell you which areas you shouldn't do that. But there's so many tips you get to load into these guys, and each one's better for different things. I like to use the bullet, or I like to use the ball, or I like to use the soft tip. And it works really well wherever you want. The same areas we were doing with the tennis balls, you can do those too. Your back. The crappy thing is using it yourself. It takes a little time to learn, figure out how to use it yourself, but I pretty much mastered it. It's really good for getting the sides of your back, targeting those muscles. Find a sore spot, you can just hold it there for about 30 seconds. It's very similar. You can move it a little bit if you want. It's really good stuff. There are areas you don't want to use these on your bone itself, like your ankle, your knee itself. You don't want to use this. You don't want to use this on your face. You don't want to use it on your neck directly. You have to be very careful if you're going to use a massage gun on your neck anyway, because you do have muscles in your neck. They're usually on the side here, and they can often get really sore, especially if you're always looking down. You've been looking down at your phone or at a computer desk for many years. You're just going to have cervical issues. It's very likely. These can't help that, but they can also make it worse if you don't know what you're doing. So you have to be really careful when you're doing your neck. And I advise, if you are going to do that, just put it on the side and do it on the side and do it at a low level. I've made my situation worse in years past because I had just got a massage gun and I didn't know any of the rules or anything that you shouldn't do with it, and I put it directly on my neck because it felt good, because I had a herniated disc at the time. But what actually ended up happening is all the vibrations for keeping it on my neck for way too long, the next day I woke up and the disc herniation was just infinitely worse, to the point I was in agonizing pain, had to get like an MRI to see what I did to myself, and yeah, it was pretty bad. So try and avoid the bone, and especially your neck, your back, your spine. You don't want to make your discs any worse. The muscles are what you're trying to target. The muscles control a lot of the issues in your back. If they're too tight, they're gonna squeeze and the nerves are gonna get pinched, and yeah, you don't want that. So that's your group that you're targeting. You're trying to heal your muscles, not your bones, not the discs themselves. Like, the vibrations are going to bring blood to the area, and it's going to help heal the discs as well. So that's a bonus to the massage gun, but never on the discs. Your face is another area you don't want to use it. Bone's just way too close. Knee, like I said, you can use it on your foot, all over your foot. Just be careful with the ankle. You have a few areas in your body where you have nerves, like around your lymph nodes. There are some in your armpit area and some in like kind of your groin area. You just have to be careful about those. It's not terrible if you hit those. It's just gonna hurt. It's a whole bunch of like nerves kind of collected around your lymph nodes, which are like sort of a pressure organ in the first place. If you squeeze those, they can kind of hurt. So another area you don't want to use that at. But this is like my go-to. I use this all over my arms very frequently. I use this on my back, and it really heals it up, because I use my back a lot, throwing a sign around, backpacking, all kinds of stuff, dancing, how I dance. I really use those muscles so they can get kind of worn out. And if I just let them go and day after day after day after being worn out, I'm going to get back problems. So hitting up these massage guns really help keep that at bay. Last but not least, the best thing I found for healing muscles, back issues, neck issues, whatever, the best thing, heat and ice. So you get one of these gel packs that you can throw in the microwave or throw in the freezer. Get a bunch of them, at least 2, I say up to 4, and put most of them in the freezer. So what you want to do with heat and ice, ice reduces inflammation, reduces swelling, reduces blood circulation to an area. And that's really useful if you've got a really swollen or sore muscles, a really swollen spot in your back. Maybe you have a disc herniation or a bulging disc and that area is just really sore and you can tell. Ice is really it's gonna bring down the pain very quickly. It's gonna bring down the inflammation. So even after you take the ice away, the pain level is gonna be reduced more. It's just gonna be easier for you to move around. So when I had cervical issues, that's the worst, because it feels like you can't move. I used to not be able to like do this. I can just do this now, and I used to not be able to. I wasn't taking care of my neck muscles and posture. But what I found was super useful was just putting an ice pack up there and just leaving it while I walked around, and I noticed that it really helped with the pain. And that's when I started to realize, oh, okay, ice is an amazing tool to use to reduce inflammation and stuff like that. So I would usually recommend icing down your muscle area first, and then no more than like 5 to 15 minutes. You have to be careful with the ice too, because you can give yourself frostbite. I'll do that sometimes on accident. It's not like a heavy level of frostbite, but I'll have left this skin on my skin get in an area because it feels really good and it's doing its job, and I'll leave it there for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll be like, oh crap, I need to move that to another area. And when you move it, sometimes if you're not careful and you leave it in the spot too long, your skin can kind of like harden and freeze in a way, and it goes back to normal very quickly. But if you do that too much, you can notice the skin will get really sensitive in that area, and that's just because you had a certain level of frostbite, and it's just made the skin very sensitive. So be careful with the ice. You don't want to leave it at one spot too long, and you only want to do like a 15-minute session before you let your body like heat up. So the ice is going to make your entire like that area cold, right? And that cold is going to conduct the heat away from your body too. So your body is going to try and heat up that cold area, and all that cooling process is going to reduce the inflammation. It's really good stuff. So if you don't need the ice, or you already did the ice, I recommend throwing these bad boys in the microwave for about a minute, and it's going to be very hot, especially the ends. I've noticed the ends of these get really hot, so I like to like kind of crunch it up, mix it up, get the heat equally dispersed in these, and you can use these pretty much anywhere you can bear it. If you've got sore biceps, sore shoulder, every muscle group that I've showed you today, your quads, your calves, your freaking foot, your hand, you can use this anywhere as long as you don't burn yourself, okay? That is the big thing. Don't burn yourself. This can get really hot, and I've never had like a 1st-degree burn or anything like that. I've never really given myself a sunburn, but the muscle groups that you're dealing with, they're usually inflamed, and that means the nerve cells that are around them or going through them or that they send to, they're going to be extra sensitive too. So any heat you put on that sensitive area is going to feel hotter. Your body's just going to react to it hotter. So one way you can really tell if you're actually going to burn yourself is putting it on a part of your body where it's not bad. Like that's a healthy part of your body, you have no issues there, and seeing if it's too hot for you to keep there. Then putting it on your bad area and seeing how hot it is. Now oftentimes you can't keep, if the heat pack is very hot, you're not going to be able to keep it there long. But if you know it's not actually gonna burn you, it is better to keep it there for a little bit of time. What the heat does is it draws blood to that area very quickly. It opens up the capillaries and it flushes blood to that area because your body thinks, oh my god, I'm being burned. What can I do? Let's pump fluids out over there. Maybe that'll help with the heat and the drying and the fire and whatever it thinks might be happening. So what we were doing with the ice was reducing inflammation, reducing the swelling, and what we're doing with this is forcing blood into an area, like abusing our body's techniques in a way, like with heat. So I love using this on my back. It's amazing for my back. It's amazing for my shoulders. It's a bit harder to get the arms, but you can do that. You can do anywhere, right? It's a bit better than jumping in a jacuzzi or taking a hot shower because you get to keep that directly on you for a while. But a hot shower or a jacuzzi isn't the worst idea either. My go-to is heat and ice. I think that's pretty much all I want to tell you about the heat. Well, I'll just warn you a bit more. If it is too hot, what you can do is just get a shirt on like this and put it over clothing instead of on your skin. And it'll start to cool down, and it'll get to a point where you can actually put it on your skin and not burn yourself. And then it'll get to a point where it's too cool and you have to heat it up again. And that's the whole cycle with this. But you just have to be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. If it's in your back next to the nerves, it's going to be very sensitive, so you have to be careful. You can wrap this up in like a very thin cloth, and that will help too. Sometimes I'll do that, but usually I just let it cool down for a little bit, use it through my shirt, and then once it's too cool to really do a lot of heating through the shirt, I'll use it onto the skin, and it just works out a lot better that way. Yeah, those are my mobility tools and how I use them and how you can kind of use them. I'll try and do a video and just actually do a routine with it next time, and maybe you guys can get a little inspiration and heal your body up, because I'm willing to bet you've got some sore muscles that happen from time to time, and you probably brush them off. Most people just brush them off. When I worked at a medical weed dispensary, I got so sick of working there because people came up, and if you're just getting high off weed, I respect that. Like, I got you. If you're telling me that you've got pain in your hand and it hurts and you need weed because it makes it better, that's where I get lost, and I'm like, no. In that case, you're just paying into the big pharma fallacy. You might as well be taking pain medication, and I don't recommend that either. I would try, and eventually working at the dispensary, I got so upset hearing people come in talking about their shoulder or their arm pain or their hands or this or that. And a lot of times they're elderly people, and there's not much more they can do at that point in their life. But I just started telling people, hey, when's the last time you tried stretching or used an ice pack or something like that? And it would, like, people would be like, what are you fucking talking about? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you've had this pain in your, let's say, hand for how long? And they'd be like, oh, I've had it for years. I'm like, is the weed actually fixing it? It doesn't fix it. And then you realize, oh, you're stuck on a substance trying to get help from pain that your body is trying to tell you there's something going on and we can fix it. You just have to pay attention to it and figure out how. And most of us, well, maybe not most of us, a lot of people these days, especially the ones that were coming to the dispensaries, don't want to deal with that. They just want some magic thing that's going to make them feel better. And it wasn't really weed, people needed to actually exercise. You actually needed to use your muscles that are atrophying and no longer supporting your body and your ligaments and your nerves. People don't realize it. People get sciatica as they age, and they don't understand it. My aunt married this amazing man, and he has the worst sciatica in the world. And when he was telling me about it, I didn't understand it. But now I realize it's because he's had office jobs his entire life, and he was in the military at one point in his life, but now he's got like office jobs, and he just, your muscles atrophy, and once they get to a certain point, they're not going to support the nerves anymore. They're not going to offer any protection from the for the nerves, and the nerves end up getting caught in certain areas of the body, which maybe pinch against bone, or they pinch against a ligament, and because there's just no more muscle to support the right posture or the right movement of that joint area. When you lose muscle, your body doesn't like stay in the correct posture. You know, it just doesn't have the muscle to be in the more comfortable posture. You just get into whatever slouching kind of posture you do, and you do that for too many years, and it's just no bueno. So that was kind of just driving me mad working there. And I just want to be able to help people understand it. Like, if your body is falling apart, there are steps you can do to slow down that process and reverse it and get better. And it's kind of a never-ending process, your body, especially if you already have issues and you're working at it in your mid-age like I am. Those issues kind of stick around, but they can get better. Like I said earlier, I used to not be able to do that, you know, and now I can. You can get better. You just actually have to give your body some time and do it. So that's the video for today. Next one on mobility coaching, I'll actually do like a live kind of like, I don't know, session for you, I guess. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not in frame too. Gotta squeeze down. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that cool, fun stuff. And holy shit, 27 minutes. My bad, guys. I was rambling, but I hope it was helpful. Peace.